And thank you very much for joining us here on the 3FM Sunrise.
Good morning, my brother.
I trust that all is well.
It's great, I'm doing well.
Right. There is the concern of a shortage of HIV medication in the country. The network of persons living with HIV say the medication is being rationed to them. In fact, PrEP, which is supposed to be critical in prevention, is not even available to start off with. And medication are stuck at the port. Has this come to the attention of the health ministry? What is happening?
Yeah, thank you. Good morning to our viewers and listeners. As you may be aware, for some time now, Ministry of Health has prioritized the clearance of these medications from the port. 92.7. And we have actually provided some medications through various means. Just last night, we were told that we have some medications that have come into the country, I think on Friday, that need to be cleared. My checks with our procurement directorate this morning reveals that they are currently working to clear this particular consignment. Meanwhile, there are other brands in town, except that the numbers are not that much. So I can assure you that we'll clear this in no time and make sure that our brothers and sisters have these medications in stock.
So, I mean, the numbers we're not exactly clear with. At least I get that. But you mentioned as well that since last night there's been some cross-checks which show that indeed the claim is the case. But in terms of treatment and how important this is, it raises critical questions as to why we are allowing it run out before an intervention is coming from the relevant authorities.
No, so the way it works is that you would do the procurement through the various funders, like the Global Fund and the rest. It goes through a process. It's consigned in the name of the Ministry of Health, and then it's cleared. It is that period, the period it arrives, and then the process is going through finance, waiver here and there. It's that process that delays a bit. But yes, we acknowledge that, yes, we need to have it in country before this one runs out. But we are working on that to reduce the bureaucracy so that we can have it in time.
So as we speak now, the case is that the health ministry is on this and is seeking to have the medication cleared and made available to them.
That's correct.
I will push for possible timelines because I know somewhere early this year there were similar conversations and there was similar such assurance. 9th July somewhere, and then in April as well of this year, there were conversations surrounding clearance of medication. What is the challenge that when the medication comes, it has to go through such a long period? What is mostly the challenge?
That is what I just said earlier. That has been part of the system for a very long time, until recently where the Minister Honorable Kobdemi Ntakando took it upon himself to be following it up periodically and get it cleared. It's just unfortunate that this came just recently, and then there is no medication, so that has drawn this public attention. But it will be worked on. It is a bureaucracy of things, the way we have to go through various processes to clear them. I'm sure that is where the problem is. In the past, you can have this at a port for about 6 months or a year. You remember the various communication regarding clearance of medicines in the past. That is a thing of the past, except this particular one. I will try as much as possible to reduce the bureaucracy so that we can have it cleared in no time.
Is there a desk at the ministry purposely which takes care of this, particularly because you mentioned the bureaucracy involved?
Yes, the Honorable Minister for Health, Honorable Kodam Intakando, created a desk, if you remember, in dealing with these consignments, that before you consign any item in the name of the Ministry of Health, get the desk informed so that they can liaise with the procurement directorate to clear it for you. But because we've done this for a very long time, we continue to just consign without informing that desk. So by the time you pick it up, it's already at the port. But we will not apportion blame. We'll make sure that we streamline things and get it cleared, and we'll have this going forward.
The National AIDS Control Program is supposed to be playing some role. Are they a part of the value chain in having this cleared and taken care of? Do you know?
Yes, there are some documentation you need to do. Then it goes to them, comes back to the ministry, goes to Ghana Health Service, back to the Ministry of Finance, back to the ministry before going to the port. So the documentation process, they are part of it. They are aware these things are coming. The control program is under Ghana Health Service, so they are part of the
But the concern is that the longer this delays, we are running the risk of new HIV infections, and we're putting a gun to the head of persons who are living with the virus. Is the health ministry concerned about this? Because in the last year or two, there have been reports by the AIDS Commission that infections are increasing. You've attributed to us this morning that in the past there have been 6 months and whatnot delays, which, if I'm to make a fair inference, we can point to the fact that there are no prevention medications, and persons who are living with the virus as well are not getting the needed medication as well, and you can draw a direct correlation. So it raises the question, why are we allowing it to continue again when we know it has a direct correlation with increase in infection and possible deaths as a result of the virus?
I doubt if we can make that direct correlation, but if you are living with it, there are some responsibility also placed on you to live some particular lifestyle. But my brother, I think we will work on it. We'll make sure that we clear these commodities. But the correlation is not there.
Right, fair enough that there's no correlation. I mean that's why I said it's a fair inference I'm going to make. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and scientifically just or just make claims. I was just speaking in terms of inferences because of prep as well being a part of it, and PrEP is very important in terms of prevention. So what are the timelines if the health ministry says they are going to be working on this? Are there timelines to which persons living with HIV who are listening right now, who are going to Kolebu and other health facilities and outside of the capital, that, okay, the ministry says by this date, when we go to the facilities, we will get our medication?
So, yes, that will come out soon. We have arranged a meeting with them. I called them not too long ago. Immediately we saw the press release. We are also, the minister has invited various stakeholders involved in this matter for us to quickly deal with it. So immediately when that is done, we'll issue a statement communicating the details and what has been done.
Right. And so you're in communication directly with them, and you're seeking to provide the necessary assurance as well to them directly.
I just spoke to the president this morning, who is in Atlau. The secretary is also in the Western region, so we agreed to have some Zoom meetings since they are far away from now.
Right. And so soon enough, that's the assurance. Because, I mean, for us here on radio, our concern is how soon the medication is cleared and how soon it can get to persons living with HIV.
We have faith in the leadership of the ministry, and I can tell you that very soon it will be cleared, and this will be communicated.
Right then. Mr. Goodman, we'll leave it here. I'm sure we'll come to you again in the course of the week to get an update as to what the situation is.
Thank you. I'm grateful.
Thank you as well. That's Tony Goodman. He is the Director of Health Training Institute at the at the Ministry of Health, and also doubles as the spokesperson of the Health Ministry. Speaking to us, you were walking us through some numbers even before Mr. Goodman joined us.
Before we even go back to the numbers, I think patients are not looking for another assurance this morning, because they received that assurance on the 9th of July. They were told that more commodities should arrive within 3 to 4 weeks. The period has passed. So it's important that the ministry gives us accountability, not another promise. Where are the drugs? If they are at the port, why are they there? And if they are not at the port, where are they? Which hospitals have run short? How many patients are affected?
I mean, Kolebu's been mentioned greatly.
Will every affected treatment center receive stock? And the reason why I'm saying this is because, Minister Akando does not need opposition to tell him the standard. He set it himself in 2023. When he made similar statements demanding the administration at the time, to implement measures that prevent ARV clearance delays, and said unnecessary delays must not happen again. But it's happening under his administration. So for a layman like me, who is not a specialist in the sector, I mean, sometimes opposition raise the examination question that government must answer later. And it looks like this time Minister Akando wrote this question himself in 2023.
And he's to be answering it.
Exactly. He must answer to in that regard. And there's another point that the lady we spoke to made, who has also, World Health Organization has also emphasized. It says a key priority during drug shortages or service disruptions is preventing interruption of current antiretroviral treatment. Patients can simply wait until supplies arrive. That is the vibe I'm getting from the conversation. That patients can wait, but we need to understand this is not Panadol.
3FM 92.
It's not Panadol. I was showing you a message.
In fact, yes. I have to get to that message, which is on our platform, and it says that, good morning. HIV is an intelligent virus. That's why after all these years, there's still no cure. You stop the medication for a while, you risk developing resistance, meaning when you eventually restart, the meds may not work. The meds may not work, which is a message that's coming through, seeking to highlight the danger for the persons who are living with the virus. Right, and it develops very quick resistance, very, very quick resistance as well, at least from this message which is being shared with us. Okay.
Yes, so back to the ledger of facts. I think we were at the part where we mentioned the supply promise. It was 3 to 4 weeks, which has elapsed, and the deadline expired. The 3 to 4 week window expired around 30th July to 6th August 2026. So if we look at the population at risk, we are looking at 337,435. Ghana AIDS Commission estimates that number of people are living with HIV in Ghana. If we look at the new infections as of 2025, that's 13,951 new infections in 2025. That's about 38 new infections every day. And then the treatment cascade, Ghana's treatment cascade is
92.7.
still at 70 to 81 to 92, still short of the global 95 target. I was trying to find out what this treatment cascade really meant, and it says, think of HIV cascade as 3 donors. Door 1, do you know your status? Ghana gets about 70 out of 100 people through that door. Door 2, once diagnosed, are you on medicine? We lose more people there. Door 3, once you are taking the medicine, has the virus been suppressed? So Ghana performs much better there at about 92%. So when ARVs become unavailable, government
we're shutting the door pretty much.
Government is threatening the very part of the system that is currently working best. So why it matters? Because it continues to save lives. A patient warning, do not ration. Patients should not ration, change, share or stop medication on their own. And then we look at the port history, over $40 million in HIV, TB, and malaria commodities were stuck at Tema Port amid tax and clearance disputes. This was a 2023 to 2024 crisis. Current port claim, unconfirmed details. Government must confirm which consignment arrival date, quantity, and why it has not been cleared. And what must be shared? 7 key answers. We need to identify the consignment, arrival quantity, importer, reason for delay, and who is responsible for the release date. The testing kit risk as well. There is a shortage in that as well. And that should also be dealt with. If you can test, how would you know? And then the funding reality is more than 70% donor funded. But Garnet says external partners finance over 70% of HIV commodities, diagnostics, and prevention. And the national fund not capitalized as well. We have the National HIV and AIDS Fund Act even, which still lacks a dedicated, continuously funded revenue stream. So the bottom line, accountability, not excuses. And I think that the hard conclusion is that Ghana warned in July, a replenishment timetable was given. The timetable has passed, patients are suffering, and if the medications are still sitting at the port, the problem is not the scarcity, it is state failure. So that is it for the Ledger of Facts today.
And appreciate these extra details that you bring onto the conversation. It's going to take us on to our very first break here on the bulletin. But let us know what you think. It's fast becoming a recurring conversation within the media landscape where persons living with the virus will raise the concern, and then the health ministry comes through to make an intervention, and then it goes quiet, then it returns again, and all of that. I mean, I would suppose that once a health or a desk is created purposely to facilitate the clearance of this medication, and remember, we do not pay for them, right? It comes free of charge. All we have to do is clear and get them in. And I mean, if we have tax waivers for businesses and all of that, which come here, and I mean, people say all manner of things for
Good
tax
morning to the minister. I mean, he knows
waivers.
This is not Panadol. I mean, this it'll be Panadol. People are living. I mean,
you understand? We can't.
They must feel very helpless.
Like,
I mean, what kind of country are we? What kind of country are we?
Even if you have money, you can't go into.
No, you can't. It's not medication
Yes.
which is sold, right? And so you can't go to like your everyday pharmacy and go and get it. And before anybody will even be somewhere and be thinking in their minds, but they went to get the virus themselves, why should we be? No, that's not it. In fact, you can contract HIV sometimes needles and all of that have given. Some persons were not engaged in any unscrupulous lifestyle before they got infected
and so
with the
what?
virus. No, I'm just
If
making
they
that
were
point,
engaged in
right?
unscrupulous
So
lifestyle, they are living with a condition right now.
it is a subject matter that must be
A
discussed.
country that protects you, or we live in a world that protects you from committing suicide. You understand?
So why can't it protect
so
you?
why can't it protect you from? Charlie, good morning, Minister. This it not be Panadol. You for do something about it.
Right. We'll take this break. When we return, we're going to get into a conversation which matters to all of us, right? Because yesterday there was an event held on local governance in the country with specific focus on waste management. Now, we've taken the time to pour through a bit of the research that was presented, plus some additional work that we've been doing, because we've had this waste management conversation on the front burner and wanting to tackle it and tackle certain institutions, amongst other things, which are in the value chain. So we're going to get into that, and it will just be more of a teaser of some sort as to what is planned, because there are certain hard questions that have to be asked. But stick and stay with us. Let's go for this break. When we return, we'll tell you why the waste in your neighborhood is not being collected. And even if it's collected, where is it going? And why do we seem to have a challenge on our hands with respect to waste management? This is a 3FM Sunrise. Stick and stay with us.
Five 100 single 200 Ghana cedis, group of 10 1,600 Ghana cedis, group of 5 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm, discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready? 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026.
Brought to you by You Fresh Juice, Fratelli Calipo.
2 days, 3 regions. From Accra through Kwao to Kumasi, hundreds of kilometers of rhythm, road and discovery. Hundreds of riders expected. One national journey. This is more than cycling. This is Ghana in motion. 28th and 29th August. To register or participate, call or WhatsApp 0531 100927. Single 200 Ghana cedis. Group of 10 1,600 Ghana cedis. Group of 5 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm, discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready? 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026.
Brought to you by You Fresh Juice, Fratelli Calipo.
2 days, 3 regions. From Accra through Kwao to Kumasi, hundreds of kilometers of rhythm, road and discovery. Hundreds of riders expected. One national journey. This is more than cycling. This is Ghana in motion. 28th and 29th August. To register or participate, call or WhatsApp 0531 100927. Single 200 Ghana cedis. Group of 10 1,600 Ghana cedis. Group of 5 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm, discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready? 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026.
Brought to you by You Fresh Juice, Fratelli Calipo.
2 days, 3 regions. From Accra through Kwao to Kumasi, hundreds of kilometers of rhythm, road and discovery. Hundreds of riders expected. One national journey. This is more than cycling. This is Ghana in motion. 28th and 29th August. To register or participate, call or WhatsApp 0531 100927. Single 200 Ghana cedis. Group of 10 1,600 Ghana cedis. Group of 5 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm, discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready? 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026.
Brought to you by You Fresh Juice, Fratelli Calipo.
2 days, 3 regions. From Accra through Kwao to Kumasi, hundreds of kilometers of rhythm, road and discovery. hundreds of riders expected, one national journey. This is more than cycling. This is Ghana in motion. 28th and 29th August. To register or participate, call or WhatsApp 0531 100927. Single 200 Ghana cedis. Group of 10 1600 Ghana cedis. Group of 5 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm, discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready? 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026.
Brought to you by You Fresh Juice for Telly Calipo.
2 days, 3 regions. From Accra through Kwel to Kumasi, hundreds of kilometers of rhythm, road and discovery. Hundreds of riders expected, one national journey. This is more than cycling. This is Ghana in motion. 28th and 29th August. To register or participate, call or WhatsApp 0531 100927. Single 200 Ghana cedis. Group of 10 1600 Ghana cedis. Group of 5 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm, discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready? 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026.
Brought to you by You Fresh Juice for Telly Calipo.
2 days, 3 regions. From Accra through Kwel to Kumasi, hundreds of kilometers of rhythm, road and discovery. Hundreds of riders expected, one national journey. This is more than cycling. This is Ghana in motion. 28th and 29th August. To register or participate, call or WhatsApp 0531 100927. Single 200 Ghana cedis. Group of 10 1600 Ghana cedis. Group of 5 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm, discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready? 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026.
Brought to you by You Fresh Juice for Telly Calipo.
2 days, 3 regions. From Accra through Kwel to Kumasi, hundreds of kilometers of rhythm, road and discovery. Hundreds of riders expected, one national journey. This is more than cycling.
Suggest that, look, we're talking waste management and its treatment. Wisdom Safo is my colleague with the research desk, right? I think they set up a committee where I was part of the research. A number of committees, I mean. Anyways, Wisdom is joining us as we talk about waste management, and there's an interesting message. This one in relation to K. The people who collect his waste says management of, I'll skip the name, wish to notify its loyal customers about a new price adjustment from 70 cedis per dustbin to 100 cedis per dustbin, effective 1st September. Management has shouldered much cost emerging from our weekly services within a month as a means to subsidize the actual costs customers should have bared for a long period. However, the recent intermittent increase in fuel pricing with the unchanged cost of spare parts and high maintenance charges have increased our cost of operation for the 4 weeks period, weakening our financial prowess to remain consistent in service as usual. It's on this note, management is proposing an increment to enable us to continue with our 4 times service in a month. Considering current circumstances, we further suggest that household and customers should pay 25 cedis per dustbin for weekly pickups, or alternatively 100 cedis a month. We greatly appreciate your understanding and continued commitment. Thank you. Yours faithfully. Like I said, I'll skip the details. So your boiler collection is up from 70 to 100 cedis.
Yeah, so Mawina.
And these, do they come and take it?
You'll be surprised. They are not that consistent. And I think that's another conversation.
4 times in a month.
4 times in a month. Sometimes sometimes they show up twice. I mean, and this is not a key problem. This is a national problem. Mm-hmm. You know, I brought that.
We are just
up
using you
just
as
so
a
we
case
can
study.
have a premise for the conversation. It's crazy what they offer, and the value exchange is not the same. Because at the end of the day, if a community agrees to work with a particular company, you know, it becomes hard for you to opt out.
Is
you
it a
know,
track
so
base or
it becomes a
warehouse?
one size fits. So it's a truck base. It's a well established company. Me bo mudin me nya asem nti me mo.
No. We will even be doing free adverts for them, so we are going to leave them out. But Wisdom is here. I mean, you've been going through some of the data points we've looked at already. But what do we have, even as you go onto the board and walk us through it?
So, Mawena, we'll be having this discussion, especially when you're in the office. You come up with this discussion. We try to disseminate where the problem is when it comes to our waste management. So, I did some digging, and I've been at this for almost a week now. And what I found was horrifying. So if we continue on this trajectory, the state of our waste management is in deep peril, I must say. So let's start with the headline figures. So how much waste does Ghana produce? That's the headline figure. So we have 8 million tons a year. Someone will be asking, what does 8 million tons mean? So think of it this way. We have about 820 feet containers every day in terms of waste. So every single day, Ghana produces about 820 feet containers, shipping containers, every single day. And it's actually projected that by 2050, we'll be having or producing some 20 million tons of waste a day. That translates to about 2,020 feet shipping containers a day by 2050. If we don't manage our waste well and we keep on this trajectory. So let's also move on to the anatomy of the waste, the breakdown. What are the wastes we produce? What is the category of the waste that we produce? Let's take it in 100% form. If you have a food dustbin, right, about 54% of that dustbin, meaning more than half, a little bit more than half, will be organic or biodegradable, which means it's the food items, the one that can quickly be decayed or decomposed. That constitutes about 54% of all the waste that we produce, every household on the average. Then plastic constitutes about 16% of the waste that we produce. Then we have the 30%, which are the others, which constitute paper, glass, textiles, and others. But I want us to center on the organic component of things.
Which is the things that can
quickly decay, right? Yeah. There's a missing opportunity there, and that had to do with the opportunity cost. What could have been done with those organic components of the waste? You know, it can be used for manure, for farming and all that. And there's this aspect of it which has to do with climate change, because most of this organic waste emits methane, and methane has a higher GWP, which is a global warming potential. Okay, the extent to which it releases carbon or warms the planet is very high.
Methane gas, methane contributes
gas
directly to global warming.
To global warming, even stronger than carbon dioxide, because if you convert methane into carbon, the carbon equivalent is very high. So there is that component of it as well. So if we don't take care, these organic or biodegradable components will also contribute to climate change. And there is the plastic aspect. And this plastic aspect, we produce about 840,000 tons of plastic every single year. But only 9.5% of that is collected for recycling. So it means that
rewind on those numbers.
So we plastic based on all the refuse that or the waste that we generate, it constitutes 16%.
16%.
That one is established.
Of that 16%.
We ascribed some figures to it, which was about 840,000 tons, right? And of that 840,000 tons, about 95% of them is not recycled. Only 9.5 is recycled. So let's say about 90% of them is not recycled. Only 9.5 is recycled. And it begs the question, Mawena, if you look at plastic, it can take up to 600 years to decompose. So it means it will stay underground for a very long time. And where does it end up? it end up in on our water bodies in the
our
ocean.
drains, actually.
And
It's a single thing that chokes the gutters.
Exactly, and contributes to flooding in the parts of Greater Accra region and our urban areas as well. And Mawena, there was an interesting statistics that I got from UNDP, right? And it's alarming. About
2.7.
There was a projection that was made, and the projection was this: that if you don't take care, by 2050 there will be more plastic in the ocean than fishes. Can you imagine?
In 21?
By 2050, if the world does not manage its waste or plastic waste carefully, there will be more plastic waste in the ocean than fishes. That's what the statistics is saying. And Mawena, I don't know whether you've been to Jamestown, you've been to the shores or the beaches that we have in the country. It's very horrible, because when it rains, all the channels, the drains, because they are filled with plastic, the final ending place is the ocean. It goes directly into the ocean, and that's something we must not take lightly. So the third point had to do with, where does the waste go? After we have produced this waste, where did it end up? Okay.
I think it's one of the most critical questions.
Very important.
Which demands an answer. Right?
So 37.5% of every waste we generate is dumped in open spaces. Very alarming. 37.5%. And all these figures, I got it from the Population and Housing Census of GSS. I also got some from the World Bank figures, UN, WHO as well. 37.5, you just dump them in open spaces. Then 33.4% is collected. 29.1% is uncollected. I will give you a further breakdown. So the collected part of it, which is the compaction track, you know the compaction tracks, right? The ones that you just put your dustbin
and
inside.
Then they come and collect.
Exactly. That compaction
that's
track.
What they call the bola car, like when they see the big one.
The big ones, the track-based ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one, it's 8.4%. It constitutes 8.4% of all the collection and the final resting place of all the waste that we produce. Then other vehicles, 1.3%. And there is this tricycle, 13.2%. So you just do the comparison with the tricycle is what we call the Aboboya. Compare the Aboboya 13.2% to the compaction track. It is actually doing well, more than the compaction track.
It's
outperforming collections. Then we have the central container. You know the central container. If you've been to this public spaces, there's this big container which it's a metal container. So if you a proper bolaka, but it is stationary, right? And it is not on any trailer. You just go there, you dump in your refuse.
And they come and pick it up.
Yeah, exactly. It constitutes 9% of all the collection. And we have the push carts or bicycle wheelbarrows. Okay, 1.6%. But the most or the highest is still the public open space dumping. That is 37.5%. So meaning there is a gap. Something is wrong somewhere. Why are we dumping our refuse in open spaces? Then we move on to burying in the ground. We realize that 3.1% of all the refuse is being buried in the ground. And it's actually good for those who are in the rural areas. They normally bury their refuse in it. I'll go to the regional breakdown shortly. Then 22.5% burn these refuse, and 3.3% are dumped discriminately.
That's when the truck doesn't come.
Exactly. Then we go to the regional breakdown quickly. So I did the regional breakdown, and it was very alarming.
2.7.
Just hazard a guess. Who do you think would be very good at collection or properly collection? Proper collection.
I think it will be somewhere up north where a lot of the activities are. Increasingly, where there are lots of individuals, we see a lot of indiscipline.
Okay.
So that's why I would suggest that perhaps
exactly. I was shocked
up north where we tend to see a bit more in terms of migration down south. Less people means less waste is generated, and even societal checks can result in enforcement in terms of properly disposing of waste.
Yeah, that's a very good analysis. But Mawina, when I was looking through the figures, I was even surprised, like how that was my conjecture, that was my hypothesis. But after the figures, I realized that Greater Accra led the charge when it comes to proper waste collection. Yes, that's what the data is saying. But here's the catch. Because they produce a lot, even if it is 2%, it outperforms a region like Ahafo, which produces like 15% of uncollected. So it's not about the percentage, it's about the quantum, okay, the amount. So the first takeaway had to do with Greater Accra, with 68% or 69.8% of the household report a collected method, which means that roughly 7 in every 10 household disposes
if you go into a neighborhood, for instance, and there are 10 houses, at least seven of those houses see either a bolaka, either a boboya, or some form of person come around and take.
They
their
don't
waste.
bury it, they don't throw it out.
They don't burn.
They don't burn them. About
and the remaining three may either be engaged in burying or burning.
Yes. But when it comes to burning, Upper East leads the charge. That's the burning hotspots. About 49% of households burn their waste. That means roughly 1 in every 2 households, like half of all the households in Upper East, burn their refuse. Then the Western North, they are leading in terms of public dumping or open space dumping of refuse. I was amazed. The Western North, about 66.8%, meaning it's the same as 7 in 10 of the households. They don't look at maybe the right channels. They just pour it down there, maybe at the backyard or somewhere.
They don't dispose of their waste properly.
Exactly. They don't use the approved channels. Then there is a question of accountability. Who is in charge? Who is supposed to ensure that waste is managed properly? But I have to take you back to the early days, 1993 to 1994. Mawina, do you remember town council?
Yeah, I think even yesterday I was on air, I was mentioning town council
and their role.
Yeah.
So in 1993, 1994, there was a Local Government Act 1993 and Decentralized Government Framework. So the significance of that was that district assemblies should carry the local public health and service responsibility. The bylaws and local enforcement became central at that time. So if you don't sweep your
backyard and all
your
of
backyard, you see that they will come and they will charge you, right? Either you pay a fine or you are summoned. That was the system. Then in 1999, we had our first environmental sanitation policy. Then by 2010, the environmental sanitation policy was revised. By 2012, we reenacted a Public Health Act, 2012 Act 851. Then by 2016, we also brought the Local Government Act 2016 to replace the local government framework. So the town council system was made less powerful in 2016 when this new Local Government Act 2016 Act 936 came to replace the old Local Government Act 1993. It placed the onus on the district assemblies now, not the local council. Then by 2017, we created the Ministry of Sanitation and Water, and they were tasked with, they consolidated all the powers. Before, then they were tasked with ensuring cleanliness, sanitation, and proper waste disposal at the local level as well. So this is quickly a trend. We had the Civil Service Instrument EI 1 of 2025. You have the EPA Act 2025 as well, which was recently enacted. But there is an accountability change, and the problem is that there's no centralized body you can point to that our waste has not been collected, so you are in charge. You are supposed to. This one will tell you should have gone here. The other one also point figures as these people. So it was this blame game. There's always
that continue to go
exactly
around.
go around.
Nobody taking responsibility.
No accountability.
Pointing fingers in the opposite direction.
So there is the central government, which is the ministry responsible for local government. So their role is to set policy direction, and they have to decentralize supervision as well. And there are the MMDAs. The MMDAs, they set up the collection arrangements, the sanitation enforcement, the contracts, public space cleansing, and local disposal management. And there is the EPA. The EPA also provides the environmental standards, the permits, the compliance, and the pollution control. And there's the Ministry of Finance, and the Ministry of Finance came here because of District Assembly Common Fund architecture. So they released the budgets. They use the Common Fund financing expenditure rules. They set them. Then there's a private waste collector, and that's where most of these aggregators fall. So they are their role is to collect, haul, transfer, and dispose this waste that we generate. Then we have the producers and importers. So end life products, circular economy, those who are into recycling and all. Then we move on to what's the evidence that I've gathered say about our entire waste architecture. The first thing that I figured was that there is no closed national waste account. What do I mean by this? We don't have a repository where we can track our waste. There is no household data, no tonnage estimate. I found it very difficult even accessing some of these figures. I had to do a lot of digging, call people, calculations and all. Meaning, even if I want to know how much waste we produce, it's very difficult to get access to those data, because without data, you're just someone with an opinion.
Right. Yeah.
See?
Yeah, that's true.
And you just be ranting and talking. Then the second thing I also realized was that collection is measured more readily than final disposal. We just look at, how many has been collected. We don't look at the final resting place of what has been collected. We pay more attention to the first-hand generation
the
collection.
fact that we are collecting it from homes
Exactly.
and all of that. Once we collect it,
we don't really care.
Everybody goes to sleep.
That's one thing I also realized. And rural service failure is structural. So we realized that for rural areas, about 5% of household they don't actually use the track system. They don't use the urban track system. So most of the rural areas, they are into dumping, they are into burning, they are into open disposal. That is a challenge. What is happening with rural, mainstream waste collection? So there is a gap that needs to be filled there. Then there is a contract verification weakness. I went through the Auditor General's report, and there have been a lot of irregularities and infraction when it comes to the use of our District Assembly Common Fund, our contracts, and whether these wastes that are being generated are properly collected, the right procurements are done, the right machineries are used, and all. There are issues. I will go and dig into that one later. And there is disposal infrastructure lags demand. So the latest Garrett results show important Greater Accra facilities still in the pipeline as in late 2025 and early 2026. When we implement a project, Marina, it takes a very long time and bureaucratic process before we're able to implement them. We are more geared towards, we have brought up this project, this policy, salt cutting, and every day we are cutting salts. But we don't see the end products of these salts that we cut. And that's a challenge. And I must put on record that I went through the number of policies and programs this current administration has commissioned or has begun. Over 300, Marina. Over 300. And as to whether there is a monitoring system, there is a long-term contingency or tactical measure to know that all these projects are being tailored and they are gearing towards what the intended purpose, is also a challenge. Can you be monitoring 300 projects at the same time? That's a challenge. We always want duplication. We don't pay attention to strengthening our pre-existing systems. That's another challenge that I identified. And finally, transparency is fragmented. A citizen cannot currently open one official dashboard and see waste generated, service coverage, and who is responsible. This one will point you to this. This one will point you to that.
Yeah.
And that's a challenge. And finally, I want to add the integrated recycling and compost plants. Mawena, do you know that every waste that is being collected, most of them are sent to, some are alleging that some of them, they don't send them to the compost plants. But ideally,
They are supposed to go there.
They are supposed to go to the integrated recycling and compost plants. We normally call them the ARECOPs, right? We have about 16 of them across the entire nation, but most of them are owned by Zoom Lion. Yeah, the Jospon Group. They manage this compost side. It was actually completed and commissioned in May 2014. May 2024, pardon. May 2020. 10 out of that 16 had been completed and commissioned, but most of them are under the auspices of Zoom Lion. They are managing those compost sites. But I went further to look at the best practices across Africa that Ghana could adopt, because there are issues that need to be solved. So I digged into our neighbors, how they are solving their issues, the best practices and best reviews. The number one on the list of the country that had a very good waste management system was Morocco. So Morocco was cited in the World Bank report that about 40% of their waste was controlled, collected, and managed in 2008. By 2022, they've increased it from 40% to 96%. And you ask yourself, how did they do it? How did they do it? So they use an environmental and financial mechanism. What they did was that they strengthened their local or national municipal agencies to be in charge and held them accountable. They gave them the sole responsibility that all what you should do was waste management. Anything regarding improper or indiscriminate waste disposal, you will be charged. You are responsible. That's what if we centralize control, we can hold people accountable. And if they know they are being held accountable, they will deliver. That's Morocco. We can learn that from Morocco. Then we will go on to South Africa. South Africa. And they gave a producer responsibility regulation, which was implemented in 2021. This means that if you are a producer of waste, you are responsible for the final resting place of the waste that you produce. That was the regulation. If a household, you produce a waste, make sure that the waste that you produce is disposed of right. If not, you'll be charged. That's South Africa. Then we have Rwanda, our famous Rwanda, the cleanest city in, cleanest country in Africa.
In Africa, eh?
Yeah. Is it Paul Kagame? Mawena, is it?
Paul Kagame.
Paul
Yes,
Kagame.
Paul Kagame.
Okay. So Rwanda also banned single use of polythene. I just heard that last week that we are also banning.
We are going to styrofoams and single-use plastics.
Okay.
I know styrofoams is expected to take effect. Is it September 1 thereabout? So roughly the pack that
they use for
you buy
Indomie.
food and you say, oh, we pay pack and all of those things are going to go away.
So if we are banning plastics, well, maybe we are following.
Not plastics in its entirety, because rubber is grown, right? But single-use plastics, because if plastics is banned entirely,
there will be a challenge.
You don't have a bucket to go about and do some other thing.
That's fair
because
enough.
some of the items are made with plastic,
Yeah.
right? So it's not a ban on plastics,
So
because some of the
I was making I wanted to end the
Is
statement.
made out of plastic. Yeah, but
I wanted
proceed.
to make a statement that if we are banning plastics, okay, it won't be a bad thing. We should look at the single-use plastic, as you mentioned, like the styrofoam. If you look at alternatives, but finding an alternative for plastic, because we have been accustomed and we are used to how we use them. So banning them and taking them away from us all of a sudden will be very difficult to adapt. But we also have to look at replaceables, alternative. Mawena, what can you use to replace pure water? or the sachet water that we buy? Can you use paper?
Paper, yeah. I'm sure
Calico
paper
type.
bags. Yeah, maybe.
What about it? Have you thought of the cost?
Could be more expensive is what I was going to say. Could be more expensive, and all
so
of
it's
that.
very difficult. That's why transitioning from a plastic single-use based economy into biodegradable one, it's very expensive. But if you are determined, it is possible. So Marina, that's it in a nutshell. That's a general picture of Ghana's waste management system.
And I'm just going to add this to the listeners, right? That this is part one in relation to conversations as to waste management. We're going to get into it bigger and proper.
Especially we'll look at the contracts.
Absolutely.
The contract. Who was responsible for
who's
what?
Been responsible for what and why contracts are being handed out. Who is supervising to ensure that the work is being done?
Yeah.
Particularly when contracts are being handed out, and we know that not all of the waste is being collected to start off with.
Very well.
Who is handling final disposition and all that? Those are conversations I can assure you we will have here on the show. They will be as uncomfortable as it can get, but they ought to be. We will have them, and certain questions ought to be asked in relation to it. But Wisdom, thank you. We'll return to the subject matter again for you here on the 3FM Sunrise.